Hi, let's try that. Is that better? Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It is the Morning Night Live. And yeah, I get mixed up when I use StreamYards and Streamlabs. It gets me, kind of screws me up. But anyway, hi, it's the weekend. The weekend's almost here. And I'm excited because this weekend's my daughter's engagement party. I know you're tired of hearing about it, but I'm not, because we've been working towards this for about 3 weeks, getting our backyard ready. We were in the middle of a landscape project when we figured out we were going to have this party. So we finished that up, and now we just got some touch and go little tidbits here and there to do. And it's all good. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully you have something good going on the weekend, or if you work on the weekends, then I hope you got something going for when your weekend comes, whenever that is. So we're planning on having a good time with my daughter and my future son-in-law and some of their friends, and we're gonna have the pool heated up and got the new patio going, and we're gonna add some landscaping to make it all look all pretty and shit. So there we go. Today, my subject is something that I was going to make a video about, and then this morning I decided that I just am going to talk about a little today. And if you have other topics you want to talk about, that's great. You can get on the mic. But this is kind of the one I wanted to talk about today, just because after watching a couple different videos that I saw over the weekend, one by the amazing Lucas, and then also a debate. So I watched the Styx Hex and Hammer anomaly debate yesterday. And I thought, there's a couple things that I wanted to talk about regarding, I guess what you'd call it, my status as a YouTube creator and a person of political persuasions and a news hound and just a person in the world and in America. Welcome to America. You know what I mean? So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And here's what I would love to have you do. And I noticed it says black conservative, not black conservative, because I hate the label black conservative. I never called myself that because of several reasons, which we'll get into when we get into the show. But if you are retweeting this show or you're putting it on social media, I would love you to tag anyone that you would consider a black conservative. Like, if you know any out there, I know that a couple of you talk to or watch Jericho Green, and some of you watch the Hoteps, and some of you watch Officer Tatum, some of you watch Felicia Cummings or Killings, and so anybody that you can think of, retweet the show and tag somebody and see if they'll pop in. I'm gonna go watch my Twitter feed today too, just to see if anyone wants to join in. But it's an open mic show, so I don't care. But I'm curious what other people think about the topic that I would talk about. I usually don't spend a lot of time on race stuff, so it's going to be interesting. I hope to you, and if it isn't, well, come back on Monday because it'll be more interesting. I'll be back in my normal news stuff. Or if you just want to talk about something else, you want to talk about something else, there's a link right over there. So, like in your chat, if your chat's over there, or if you're on a phone, if your chat's down there, you can certainly get on the mic and talk about anything you want, because it is open mic Friday on the Morning Night Live. And on that note, we'll come back after the intro and we'll get it started. Johnny, play the intro, please. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. All right, music stops on its own, and when you're on StreamYards, because that's just how this system works. It's a little different than my normal system, so I don't have to say stop the music. It just stops like just very abruptly. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I am your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is Friday, the 16th of July 16th, 2021. And I'm so happy to have you here. People in the chat, looks like we got, I forget where's the thing on StreamYards that tell me how many, we got 31 people here already. Damn, that's a good start. Well, I am so glad that you're here. I'm going to be talking about stuff that I don't normally talk about. It's not usually a big thing in my roundhouse, but I'd be more than happy to hear from you or anyone else, because it is Open Mic Friday. Now, because of the topic, if certain people jump into my thing here, the green room, so to speak, I may not take them in order because it's a very specific topic. Not that I'm being racist or anything, because black people can't be racist anyway. But it's a very specific topic that I would love to hear from certain people. In fact, speaking of which, I just saw my dude. I just saw Leon on here. Yeah, I don't know if Larry Elder would join in. That'd be something else though, wouldn't it? What? There's no fucking way. There's a debate about what's harder, streaming or the military, and people are picking streaming. Oh my God. I'd love to have Leon jump in here. In fact, I'm gonna watch this. Oh, that was 45 minutes ago. I'm still gonna reply. I'm gonna put a little jump into my show today, Leon. If you don't know who Leon is, he might have class, so this is usually the time he's in class. Oh no, I don't want to. I'm not messaging you. I just want to reply to your damn tweet. What the hell happened there? Okay, no, here, watch this. Oh, I forgot my I forgot when I use. It's weird because when I use StreamYards, my computer slows down so much. Probably because I have both StreamYards and Streamlabs going, because I have to put the Streamlabs box here in case I get any SuperChats. And then but anyway, Monkey's in the house. Whoa, you're back. Oh, that's right. I saw you were back last night. I didn't get to listen to your show last night, but good morning. Well, let's say good morning to everybody, since I'm already starting to say hi to people. I'm going to unpin this message because that thing's going to pop up there so many times. Let's say good morning to the people in the chat. First in the chat today was what the hell's going on here? Come on, remove. That's what I want. There we go. First in chat today was our friend Somnambul Nation, who gets the bell. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. Also, good morning to Gunfox61, the administrator of the Dawg Knight Channel Discord server. Thank you. Also, good morning, Avocados Diabli, Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadian, Jonathan Peterson, Mike Savage, Blarg, Don Julio's in the house. That would be the ever-present and fun-loving Don Koenig, Gulf City Biker and Trash Man. Also, good morning to Attack Alpaca, Select a Boy. Yeah, also, good morning, Jesse Leon, Aaron Meredith, Advocates the Devil's Advocate. Did I already say that? I don't know. I'm saying it again. Good morning, D.I. Freighter Watcher, Lord Stanhope, I said Jesse Leon, Molly Mags, what's up? Good morning to and W.R. Costin. Hey, nice to have you back. Also, Ranting Monkey is in the hizzo. Nice to see you, sir. Also, by the way, I hope you had a nice vacation. You know what? It's open mic, Monkey. You can come on and tell us about your vacation if you have a moment. I'd love to hear about it. Also, good morning, W.R. Costin. And anyone else in the chat. Looks like we got a bunch of people here that haven't quite. If you're not chatting, that's cool. You don't have to chat, but I hope you enjoy the show. At some point in the show, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button. That would be fan-freaking-tastic. Also, share the stream out. And again, like today, if you know any content creators of color, that would be the CCOC. If you know any CCOCs, tag them. I would love to hear their thoughts on the term black conservative and what that is to them. And the reason I not that I'm going to discriminate. Anyone who wants on the show can come on the show. But I'd like to hear what people's thoughts are when they hear that phrase. Hello, always lost nothing else, aka alone. Anyway, so let me just breach the topic that I have chosen to name this stream about, because I've been, if you're familiar with The Amazing Lucas, The Amazing Lucas was making anti-SJW videos back when I came on YouTube. Maybe he started after that. I think he might have started in about 2017, 2016, which is around the same time I started. By the way, I just realized, I know this, I'm going to be going off on tangents today. I think it's my 5th anniversary on YouTube. I think it is. I'm going to have to check that out, because I think I started in July 2016 with my first video, which was it was a somewhat of a parody video on answering questions. It was kind of a comedy video, and that video probably it's funny. I got a ton of subscribers right off the bat. Not a ton, because a ton is relative when you only have 1,036 subscribers. But I know that I hit like 200 subscribers right off that first video. And then I didn't do a whole lot beyond that. And then I started growing the channel when I started doing the show. Oh, you gave up Lucas for Tatum. Interesting. Now let's get to what I was talking about though. So I'm going to have a 5-year anniversary show sometime in the next 2 weeks. I have to figure that out. Yes, question black people's hat for SJWs. That was my very first video. No. That was not it. It was, no. It was questions that anti-SJWs have for SJWs or something like that. And it was a kind of a comedy video, and I had fun with it and made silly answers and stuff. And it was a lot of fun. But anyway, why is that popping up so many times? Well, probably because I have it set for 4 interval 17. Okay, we're gonna adjust this, because it's gonna drive you crazy if that pops up every 2 minutes. Let's go every 10, and we'll do it that way, because we did not need that popping up every 10 minutes. There we go. Tell you what I'll do is I'll pin the original one up here at the top too, in case you want to find it easily. Okay, where the hell? There I am. That's not it. Retracted. I didn't want to retract the message. I want to pin the message. Is that going to show up as message retracted? Well, we'll find out in a second. I guess you can't. Anyway, all right. Well, you can find the link to the green room in the chat. I'm not going to worry about that. All right, let's get back to what I was talking to. So I was watching an Amazing Lucas video the other day where he was critiquing someone talking about him and why the Amazing Lucas is losing subscribers. Now, if you're not familiar with the Amazing Lucas, he's a pretty successful YouTuber making anti-SJW videos for a while, just making fun of certain things and happenings in the world. And he is a I don't know if you'd say a political conservative, but he's a conservative, right? And he got up to over 500,000 subscribers. Very successful. Funny. He's made some funny videos, and just, an affable guy, And so he got invited to this conference. I want to say a couple years ago, maybe. It was a conference in Arizona, and him and Hotep Jesus was invited, and there was like Brandon Tatum and ABL and Candace Owens and a whole bunch of Black conservative content creators. invited to this conference, and it was put together by TPUSA, Charlie Kirk, and they went there, and they were just because they were all trying to figure out how they could get these content creators to make content that would support the candidacy of Donald Trump. And it was a couple years ago, anyway. And some people took to that conference and thought it was great, great as could be, and others got a different vibe from it, as in they were just trying to get some black faces to make content to support Donald Trump. And whatever so a couple people left there and said, this is not for me. And because they didn't really like how it was kind of it was almost like they were there to create talking points for everyone to be on the same page and have the same opinion. And I'm not one of those people who who believes that everyone needs to be on the same page and have same opinions. In fact, I respect people who have different opinions than me. And some of the things that they were using as far as their talking points, some people didn't care for. So they're like, yeah, this ain't for me. I'm out, right? But so to make a long story short, we get through this election, and I think most of the people there probably still supported Trump, but they just didn't feel like, some of the talking points were a little bit just not their thing, and they said, you know what, not into it. So they get through the election, and then we get into some of the recent events of this year, the last year or so, before the George Floyd thing happened. You had the Ahmaud Arbery, you had Breonna Taylor, and you had George Floyd. And some of these black people had different opinions about those events, which I think, okay, that's fine. I have different opinions, a lot of people, about those events. But what kind of came out of it is Lucas, who has become very adamant that the police were wrong in many of these events, started making some videos that were anti-police. His prerogative. And I listened to a lot of his other stuff, and he also he's also very critical of the talking point conservatives, or he has a name for them that I don't like to use, where he oh wow, that's interesting. Hi, I'm watching your live in South Korea. I'll study English through your live. Well, I'll try to use proper English then. Anyway, so anyway, Lucas very critical of the police and very critical of how some of these other creators treated those events, and and has his opinions. And it's funny. I still watch Lucas. I still watch Tatum. I still watch ABL. I still watch the Hoteps. I watch a lot of different creators. Oh, what do they call them? CCOCs. I watch a lot of different content creators of colors because, being a content creator of color, I'm interested in what other content creators of color think. I agree with some of them some of the time. I don't agree with them some of the time. But, it's one of those things. When you think of let me go into this. So anyway, a lot of people are mad at Lucas because some of the content he makes is hurting their feelings or something. And you know what? Whatever. And he and Tatum have a beef because I think Tatum has, I watch Tatum still, but I do think he has a tendency to belittle black people. Okay. Now, are some of his opinions valid? Sometimes, but I don't necessarily care for how he has this, and this is a beef a lot of black people have with Tatum, because he's constantly belittling black people. Okay. Which I understand what he's trying to say. I understand where he goes with his arguments, but I just disagree with some of them. Okay. Because, when he says black people are so stupid, I'm like, whoa, hold on. Brandon, you and I are black. Do you think we're stupid? You know, and it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of one of those things that Candace Owens does. One of the reasons while I respect kind of where she's going, but I think that she's a talking point machine. And a lot of her talking points seem to be there to belittle other Black people. And she tends to she's a gatekeeper kind of person. She's turned herself into this person who decides whether or not you get to be in the club. And I'm like, I don't buy that. Cause let me just tell you something about me. There was no club when I became a conservative. Okay. There was no club. My first presidential candidate I ever voted for was Ronald Reagan in 1984. And it wasn't because he was conservative. It was because he made a lot more sense when he was running against Jimmy Carter. And I could see where the direction the economy was going when he was running for re-election in 84. I didn't care whether he was a Republican. I didn't care, if let's see, was that Mondale? Yeah, that was Mondale. No, that was Mondale when he ran against Mondale. I thought Mondale was useless. So I voted for him, and then I started kind of understanding kind of the conservative philosophy, especially as far as economics, and a lot of the things conservatives said made more sense to me than the Democrats, and I basically been there ever since. I'm, as far as being Black and conservative, I'm kind of an OG in some ways, although I wasn't unique even then. You know, there were there were others out there. Nigel Innes. There was I'm trying to think. I off the top of my head, I can't think of a whole bunch off the top of my head. But anyway, so then let's get into why I named this stream Black, conservative. And we'll go into just in my description, I say, I have never called myself a Black conservative. Okay. Well, even though I'm Black and I'm conservative. So why is that? Well, because even in the chat here, I see some of the names that have been mentioned. I mentioned Lucas, and you know what? I understand where Lucas is going. I don't agree with everything he says, but I still follow him, and I understand the principles that he's talking about. And some people say he's just trolling people. Is he or isn't he? No, I think he's sincere in what he says, and I don't have to agree with everything he says. I'm still interested in what he has to say. But when someone says thinks Black conservative, do they think of the amazing Lucas, or do they think of Jesse Lee Peterson? Now, I personally think Jesse Lee Peterson is a troll. Okay, he's funny as hell, and I'll watch some of his stuff, but I think he's a troll. Sometimes I go, is he for real? And then I hear his backstory, and I go, oh, well, maybe he's kind of for real. But anyway, again, it's another point where he seems to be just trying to get a reaction. And so it's like, I don't necessarily think of that. Or when you think Black conservative, do you think of Jericho Green, who's kind of fairly new on the scene, been around a couple of years and makes very good videos out of his car? Or do you think Tree of Logic, who is I love her. I think she's awesome, and I don't agree with everything she says. There are so many people out there that people will say, oh, they're a Black conservative. I'm like, Tommy Sotomayor, is he kind of a Black conservative? I don't know. Tommy's an interesting fellow. And I think people take him. I think Tommy's tried to do good, but in a very, very brash, abrupt way. And so I'm always wondering about him. Amazing, JLP. Oh my gosh. So anyway, Tommy hates the hat heads. Yes, he does hate the hat heads. Why is this frozen? Is my stream frozen? Did it freeze there for a second? I'm just curious. Maybe it's just from the Streamlabs. I'm gonna turn the studio off because it'll mess me up. Tree got really mad at me for something mundane. I can't remember what. Since then, I just avoid her. She's a bit melodramatic. She's very melodramatic. In fact, I got on her bad side once, and I think she even banned me from her channel. And then I guess she took that away because I found it popped up in my feed one time. So I was watching one of her things and I typed something in the chat and she goes, "Oh, P-Dawg, oh, I haven't seen you for years." I'm like, I know, because you banned me, right? Anyway, all right, let's do this. I have someone waiting in the green room, so I'm gonna bring in Sydney. Is this the Sydney that was here? Were you here earlier? Let me find this out. I'm gonna bring you in. Hello, Sydney. Whoa.
Hi.
Sydney, I remember you. You were back here. You were here last week.
Yep.
What's going on?
Okay.
So what do you want to talk about, Sydney?
I don't know.
You don't know? So let me ask you something, Sydney. I caught you here in the end of the show last week, and you weren't really sure what you wanted to talk about. Are you not really sure what you want to talk about today?
Not today.
Not today. Just popped in to say hi.
Yeah.
Hey, Sydney. Okay, since you're not sure what you want to talk about, how about if I ask you questions?
Okay.
Okay. What are your plans for the weekend, Sydney?
Okay. I watch basketball.
Okay. You watch basketball like the NBA?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean? Are you following the NBA finals?
Yeah.
Who do you want to win?
I don't know.
Who's playing?
I don't know.
You don't know? Oh, isn't it Phoenix and and Milwaukee?
Uh-huh.
Do you have let me ask you this. Do you have a favorite basketball player?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay. Well, Sydney, I really appreciate you calling or jumping in, and I hope you have a great weekend.
You too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right, bye, Sydney. All right, thank you, Sydney, for dropping in. We appreciate you dropping by. Also on the line today. Oh, okay, there we go. All right, let's I'm gonna bring in James Colley because James Colley's in the house. By the way, before I bring James in real quick, just a reminder, if you would be so kind, hit the like button if you haven't done that already. Also, please share the stream. You can hit the share arrow, which is somewhere up there if you're on mobile. It's down here if you're on a computer, and share this out. Tag your favorite Black conservative content creator. I'm sorry, CCOC, content creator of color, and have you, and maybe they'll jump in. I'm going to see if somebody jumps in. In fact, I'm hitting Leon up right now. Maybe I can't reply to Leon. Okay. Hang on a second. All right, there we go. All right, let's bring out James Colley. James Colley, what is happening, my brother? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. I just woke up and I heard your silky smooth, lustrous voice that you have.
I know, it's so
and
sexy.
I decided it's going to be a good day.
All right. Well, what do you got going on?
Well, I heard something, and it's not a reputable source.
Okay.
Trump derangement syndrome is still in full force.
Not a good start. That's not a good start.
Trump derangement syndrome is still in full force, man. I've heard rumors.
Okay.
That they're wanting to put that the siblings are going around Ivanka and Trump Jr. is going to run
Run
for
for
Senate and House of Representatives, and they're going to try and get become the the majority leaders for the Republican Party.
Okay, one's going to run for this House and one's going to run for the Senate. Is that what you're saying?
In other words, they're going to try. This is what the left is putting out there, that the Trump siblings are going to run.
Oh, the left is saying that.
Yeah.
Because you know what I heard after CPAC, when CPAC was over, some people were saying that there were flyers out there that said that Donald Trump was going to try to run for Congress from Florida, from his district in Florida, and that then he was going to try to run for the Speaker of the House, and then have the House impeach Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and that he would be president again. And that was like, I'm like, and they had some fake looking flyer about that, but now they're saying that the kids are going to run for the House.
Because since all this auditing's going on with Maricopa County and Georgia, and there is proof of an unfair election coming out, that since there's no precedent to recall a president from a presidential election, that the kids can do it, and he becomes president. And then you've got your Trump emperorship, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh my God. You know, yeah, that's that is some fantasy right there. You know, because I've heard like I said, I heard the one where they said Trump was going to do that, or Trump was going to try that. And exactly what Avocados Diablo is saying here, a freshman rep becoming the majority leader, as if that would happen. You know, although I wonder, you know, if a former president ran for Congress, would they have the juice to do that? I don't think so. Especially not Trump. I think there'd be enough people in the House that would go, no, this is silly. But first of all, also the idea of him running for Congress cracks me up too, to be honest with you. So, you know,
and the thing of it is, that's what Avocados Diablo just said. That's what I was telling my mother last night, because she was talking about it with my father.
Mm-hmm.
We were on our way home, and they were talking about that. When let's stop and think about it. The only power AOC had when she came in as a freshman was Twitter. That's it.
Yeah, true. I mean, she certainly used social media as far as getting, because she uses the social media that young people use. Like, she uses Instagram really well too. You know, where she was making those stupid Instagram videos where people like me see her as a complete moron. But it's funny how young people embrace her. Let's say not all, because I'm sure there's plenty of young people who have no desire to have her philosophy take over our country. But I don't know. This whole thing's absurd, though. It's
absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
And there was one other thing that I wanted to talk to you about. And if you've got someone else on the line, I can come back in.
No, I'm good. No one's in the green room right now, so we're good.
Okay.
Yeah. What else you got?
And this is me kind of disagreeing with you here.
Okay. Please do. I'm off.
My disagreement is of color.
Okay.
Because one, I've never seen you as a black man.
Okay.
I've never seen anybody by the color of their skin.
Right.
You are a content creator, sir.
Yeah, no,
a damn fine one.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And well, here's a couple. And now let's get into that conversation, because I never called myself a black conservative, even though I'm black and conservative, right? I always thought, and it's not because I'm not black. I'm unapologetically black. I don't, it's just because I am, and it's not a choice that I have. But also because everyone has a different perception of what a black conservative is. Some people automatically think Candace Owens. I'm not like Candace Owens. Candace Owens she's part of the Conservative Inc. crowd. I mean, yes, they do talk about conservative things, but there's kind of a money-making thing out there that they do that it's not so important to me. That seems to be very important to them. Plus, they have, while, for example, Candace has this
Candace Owen is a bad example or actually she's a really good example, because you've been around the block long enough to remember when she was Red Pill Black.
Right.
And Social Autopsy.
Oh, I know all about that. Yes.
Exactly. I mean, because we were both listening to the same people.
Right.
When all this came out, and this was before the T and Kraut drama. Well, when people at 4chan, certain people that were in the conservative what was it? Centrist group.
Oh, right.
Like that are no longer there, but anyhow, their names aren't important, but the message was.
Right.
As far as exposing her, and then she goes away and comes back with her own name, and now she's a conservative of color.
Right. And all talking points. She was talking points. But and speaking of Triologic destroyed her on that. Bringing too much to the green. All right, he's gonna try again. Tree put out, I mean, totally just dissected that whole social autopsy thing and her epiphany. And so here's the thing, but at the time too, there are a lot of conservatives, especially Trump supporters, who really liked seeing Trump supporters with different hues. And so she just hit at that perfect time, kind of perfect storm time, where and the perfect marketing, because that's when just even saying red pill was a big thing. And so Red Pill Black was the perfect marketing strategy to rise up the way she did. And then she just seems to have over time connected with the right people at the right time who could push her forward, when she got, connected with Charlie Kirk. Then she got connected with the Blaze, but then that went away. And then she got connected now she's with the Daily Wire. But it's all been a marketing. She's like, seems to be all marketing. And even the Blexit thing, because I watched some of those Blexit rallies that she would do. And it was, I'm talking about Blexit, right?
Yes.
So it's all the Blexit things. I would watch those videos, and there would be like 2 rows. They'd have them in these auditoriums in different places, and there'd be 2 rows of black people all sitting up at the front and all those. And everyone behind them was white people. And I don't care. I mean, she's very popular with conservatives, and a lot more conservatives are white than black. So I didn't care about that. But I didn't really feel like she was bringing a whole lot of people into the Republican Party or to conservatism as she made it out to be. But the marketing was great, because she'd have these beautiful, very well orchestrated rallies with, great graphics behind her and speakers and stuff like that. And there'd be a lot of, you could see really good visuals of her speaking to the crowd, saying it was always the talking points that were the best talking points. But I don't think she was really drawing a lot of black people towards the Trump administration. I think Trump himself did that more with what was happening in the country. So anyway, but
it was more of an optics.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, people that I think are funny that bring more attention to conservatorship, the Hodge twins. I don't agree with everything they say.
Yeah, they're funny.
But they're good Southern boys, and they're a lot of fun to listen to. If you get past their hollering and back and forth at each other, they do make good points.
Well, I was watching them before they were ever doing anything political. They were just a couple funny guys who made sex jokes all the time.
Oh yeah, they still do.
They're hilarious. But anyway, we'll tell you what. Yeah, but there are so many people out there that are black conservatives. Probably people have never heard of. One I've been kind of listening to a lot is Felicia Killings, who does this conscious black conservative thing. There's and I still watch Lucas. I still watch Tatum. I still watch Jericho Green. I even see what's Terrence Williams on Rumble every once in a while. He's a funny little dude, but there again, some of those are the conservative things. They've kind of glommed onto this kind of a marketing strategy to build following, and they make money from it, and but even though I think they have the right track as far as the problems, I just don't think they have the right track as far as solutions. So there are a lot of people out there like the Hoteps, like Felicia Killings, like Jeff, what's Jeff's last name? The guy who writes for Red State, who are talking about solutions and how and also there's people who are running for office, the Clem Klachicks, and there's a whole bunch out there that are actually looking for solutions and also looking for ways to actually go in places political that black people haven't been going. And for like, again, Clem Klachik in Baltimore running in that Congress seat that she had no chance in hell of winning, but some people hadn't seen a Republican run in that district for 30 years. And she did it. So sometimes you got to have that too. But anyway, all right. So all right, I'm gonna go to my next guest, and sir, I thank you very much for joining me, and also get off my screen, Boomer.
All right, see you, Boomer.
All right, brother. Thank you very much.
All right, later.
All right, next up is your favorite and mine, the Ranting Monkey. How you doing, sir?
Hello. How are you? Just a quick thing. I am on my satellite, so if I have a slight delay, I'm sorry. My other internet was just garbage, dude.
Oh, no worries. That's fine. I'm glad to see you. Hey, how was your vacation?
Very relaxing. We didn't go and do much. We just went down to my father-in-law's house and hung out on the lake for the week. So
okay.
It was a lot of fun, but very just relaxing.
Yeah, no, I saw you did a couple little tiny short videos, and I was like, oh, he should do some of those YouTube shorts now.
That's what those are. Those are YouTube shorts, and for some reason I'm limited. Yeah, but I'm limited to 15 seconds instead of the minute that you're allowed to get, and I'm not sure why. So I got to look into that because it really broke up my flow.
Did you use the tool, or did you just make a video and then upload it?
Oh, no, I did it from the tool right off the phone. That's why a lot of people yelled at me, hey, do it in portrait. You cannot do that in portrait. You have to do that in landscape. No, sorry. Yelling at me to do it in landscape, but it was in portrait. You can only do those in portrait.
I've never used the tool. So I don't even know if it's 15 seconds. I've always just made a 1-minute video and uploaded it. I've only done a few of them. But by the way, good morning, Scribe, who says,
hello, Scribe. Oh, I can't see chat either because I turned everything off.
Oh, well, here, watch this.
So you know.
There he is.
Oh, there you go. Hello, Scribbles.
Monkey Thrapple.
Two things I got to comment on what I've been hearing. One, we have had a president who went into Congress after he was president. It was John Quincy Adams.
Yes, that's right. I knew that.
But that's back before we basically treated our presidents like kings.
Right.
So different times, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is Candace Owens is absolutely a marketing genius.
Yes.
That's what her draw is.
100%. And Tatum has followed after her. ABL has followed after her. Even the Hodge twins to an extent, but the Hodge twins were around long before that as non-political people.
Yeah, and I think people like Candace, she might not bring very many people over, but she does give other people a kind of a door to bring people over. Because one of the things there's no black conservatives. Come on, if you're black and you're conservative, you're going against your own interest, dog. We've been told this over and over again. So you get somebody like Candace, and then from Candace you find people like the Hodge twins, and then if you get really red pilled, you go and find the Hoteps. Oh, I love my Hoteps, dude. Fucking love. Uncle Hotep is one of my favorite people on Twitter.
Yep.
I laugh at him all the time, often for the wrong reasons, but the Hotep movement did a lot in this last election cycle to point out to black people, like, those Democrats you've been voting for 60 years, they haven't done anything for you.
Right.
And a lot of, we saw a big shift towards Trump of black voters.
Yeah. No, we did. Yeah, he definitely got more than any other Republican has in period for a long time. The other thing I like about the Hotep movement is they don't really necessarily live by the politics as much as
they don't.
What their personal philosophy is, how to build for yourself, how to build for whatever community you're around. And the other part too is this is another reason why I when I say I never call myself a black conservative, because I haven't lived in a black community since I was 5 years old. So I'm not a good representative. Whereas some of those guys do live in black communities, and their philosophy is, what can we do to build this community or our community or where we live, and how do you improve yourself so that you're successful as individuals, even if we're having a not necessarily a collective mindset, like as in a collective, but as in changing a mindset of a lot of people that you have to build for yourself. And that's the reason I appreciate them.
If you watch these guys, they're not necessarily all that conservative. Like you said, they're more about, hey, how can I get better? And a lot of the time it is easier. There's less regulations, less restrictions, less mom and dad telling you how to live on the conservative side right now. Mm-hmm. It's more about go out and be yourself, do what you can to make yourself better. And that comes from the conservative side right now, rather than, hey, we're going to give you all this free money to make yourself better.
Right.
Which they've been trying that for decades. It doesn't work.
Nope.
And so it was nice to see, because there has been in this country, my entire adult life, this mindset that black people have to vote Democrat. And that's asinine. That's fucking asinine. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I allowed to drop F-bombs here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Have you?
I never remember who else show I can swear on.
Have you listened to my show? I usually don't do it in the first 10 minutes that I go live, even though my show is usually about a half hour before I even start. But because
I try not to do it, but occasionally one slips out in the first minute.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes there's really stupid stuff. But anyway, it's nice to see at least some people starting to put out the idea, black people don't all think alike, Joe Biden. Black people don't all think alike. And it's okay for them to have different views. That Joe Biden thing, look, your Mexicans out there, they unlike black people, they have different views. Like, oh, Joe, please no. And yes, I'm paraphrasing to make it sound worse, guys, but that's basically what he said.
That is what he said. And that's what's I'm just like, how did that come out of his mouth? But if you think about the things that have come out of his mouth during his 40 years in public office, it shouldn't surprise you 50. At all. 50, whatever.
Almost 50 years. Yeah.
And, you know, even the what was the other one he did? Oh, well, obviously if you vote for Donald Trump, you're not black, which, you know, I mean, I'm fairly light skinned, but I'm still black. You know, I mean, at least, not socially, well, I don't know. I was trying to think of, not philosophically, demographically. Thank you. Demographically, I am. You know, the other thing too is when I made this title too, because I think of like, yes, I'm black and conservative, but the idea of calling me a black conservative, one, I don't necessarily represent a black community. Like I said, since I was 5 years old, I haven't lived in a black community. Although I went to a black church. We went to the church we went to still, even when my parents moved out to the sort of pseudo suburb that we lived in Omaha. My piano teacher was black. Our veterinarian was black. And the family I lived in was black. So I grew up in a black family, but in a mostly white neighborhood. I went to elementary school and I was like one of 4 black kids in my elementary school. And really, I didn't have daily interactions with black people until I got into junior high, because there was busing in Omaha. And so, you know, it's funny because there were kids who let me, there were those certain kids who let me know that I was black when I was in elementary school, because they were still using very colorful words back then. But then when I got to junior high, I wasn't black enough for the black kids either. You know, the black kids were like, "Oh, look at this Uncle Tom," because I talked like the white kids. You know, that's because of who I grew up around. That's how I taught you. You end up talking to how you grew up around. In fact, I have a friend from high school that she moved to Memphis about 30 years ago, and I saw one of those Instagram videos that she put up one day, and I usually don't listen to my friends' Instagram videos, but for some reason I clicked the sound on it, and she had this total Memphis, Tennessee Southern accent, and I'm like, who the hell are you? You know. So anyway, so me growing up around a bunch of white kids, plus my grandmother, she's black, and she was an English teacher, so I wasn't allowed to use any slang at all. What little there was that I knew, and the only time I heard it was at other kids at church. But she was an English teacher, so you basically speak the King's English, and I read all the time, so all my language skills were from reading, from who I grew up around, and from my grandmother, who's like, no, you never be none of that. So, and then the other strike. Well, go ahead,
if you don't mind. There's this one thing about this whole conversation that does bug me.
Okay.
You only hear this stuff, you know, black conservative or gay conservative. You don't hear a black liberal. You don't hear gay liberal. It's only if it's a conservative that suddenly we have to be so worried about that. Let's be honest, ridiculous, meaningless thing.
Right. No, and no, you don't. And you don't have to qualify the black liberals because it's assumed. Well, part of it's assumed. Hey, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have a reunion here. I'm gonna have a reunion here. Watch. I'm gonna click something. Watch this.
Who am I? Why am I here?
Scribbles.
Hello.
What's going on, sir?
Yeah. So black conservative, gay conservatives, because considered a novelty. As though these things are a rare unicorn beast or something. And it's like, oh, well, golly gee whiz, they can exist too.
I disagree with you on that. I get what you're saying there, but I don't think that's what it is. I think it's more of an insult. I think it's said to as how can you be that? Because they'll say it. You're going against your own interest, against your own people.
Well, it depends on who's speaking.
It's a purity test.
It depends on who's speaking. On the one hand, you have, let's say, the conservatives that are saying, here, look, we are also inclusive. Here's a black conservative. And then you have on the other side, it's more of a rejoinder saying black conservative. You know, that kind of, it all depends on the source, I think.
Well, the marketing part is, we were talking about Candace, for example.
Mm-hmm.
She does a really good job of marketing herself. And I don't mean this derogatorily, but she marketing herself to white conservatives.
Sure, yeah.
Who have uplifted her and put her out on this pedestal because, hey, we have a black person. Yay! Yeah. You know,
she revels in it. She revels in it. That's her brand. No, I get it. Like I said before, all props to her for marketing herself in that sense. She's making out like a bandit.
Go back to Candace's first video that she came out as conservative. What was it? It was literally her coming out to her parents as though she was gay.
Right.
But no, she was just a black conservative. It's all been marketed that way. She's excellent at marketing. Mm-hmm. For me, that just, I don't know if I believe she's actually conservative, to be honest.
Now, do you actually, in her, let's just be honest and say in her relatively thinly veiled cynicism of marketing herself in this way, is there a positive outcome to it?
Sure.
Is she inspiring anything that is legitimately positive, or is she just sort of riding the cynical wave and looking like she's representing something greater? If you get what I mean.
I think very much the same way Milo did. This does open the eyes to people so they can say, wait. I don't have to be a liberal based on this. And if nothing more, it gets people at least considering possibilities, listening to arguments they never would have listened to before.
But isn't the danger, and I know I'm kind of crossing over myself, I'm just thinking about it as I'm sitting here, isn't the danger that she's so admirably, cynically branding herself? Is it then just like everyone expects anyone who comes out and says, I'm a black conservative, is trying to ride her coattails?
That is... it can be a problem.
Yeah.
So I'm looking. So for example, I've someone I had on my show a while back, Gothics. Okay. And there's so many people who are just like, oh, they're either some are like, oh, you're the newest Candace Owens, or like, oh, you're just another Candace Owens.
Right.
But
yeah.
She's complete, and even though she's similar story, she didn't have this epiphany like Candace supposedly did, but she just, started having some people deal with her in ways, and she's like, well, no, I don't think that. So why is it because I'm black I'm supposed to think that way? But people automatically compare her to that. And a lot of the conservatives that I mentioned, like Brandon Tatum, who's kind of come on Candace's coattails a little bit, but then he's blown up himself because he markets that whole former police officer thing. So he gets asked to go on Fox News. But it's the same thing where it's like, oh, yes. Oh, thank goodness we have this black conservative, former police officer. Oh, you can talk about George Floyd and this and that. And they're just so excited to have him that he becomes very popular very fast. But as far as, has there been some good? Sure. There are people who go, oh, that's interesting. It's another face. Is it positive though? I don't always know. Like Ben Carson, I think is positive if you know his backstory. Whereas Candace, I'm not even sure if her backstory is all that real. Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Did she grow up in a black neighborhood? I don't know how many black people live in Connecticut. I don't know.
She was the only one. Look, on a much smaller scale, I've been through this myself because I'm a cartoon YouTuber. And when I first came up, you're a bearing clone. You're a bearing clone. Right. True story. I have not heard that in years, though, because what you have to do, even if that's how you're first known, getting yourself known for who you are is what's important. So if they fail in that, that's on them, not something wrong with her or how people see her. It's a good thing if you're a black conservative and you want to make a run for it. She's shown it's possible to become very, very popular doing that. That doesn't mean you have to be her. So it comes down to the person, to be honest with you.
Well, it comes down to your what your ambition is. I mean, in her case, it's like self-marketing, fame, fortune, etc., and so forth. I mean, maybe I'm stretching in my assumptions there a little bit, but all the same, why would you quote unquote come out as a black conservative? Are you doing it for the attention? Are you doing it as a legitimate? Hey, there are people that aren't all looking the same who have different opinions too. I guess it all depends on how you're presenting it, what message you're putting out there, and ultimately what your motivation is. And yeah, you can break out of the initial assumption of, oh, you're just doing a Candace Owens, oh, you're doing a Bearing, and then actually put the work into saying what you want to say and become a monkey. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. No, wait. I take that back. I take that back. I take that back.
Hey.
Wording, scribe. Wording.
Yeah.
No.
No, you didn't go there. Oh, man. No, but it's, and the other thing too is, when I was thinking of this title today, I was like, do I ever want to market myself as a Black conservative?
No.
Because I got to be honest with you, my Black card, the limits on my Black card have my credit limit on the Black card has been whittled away to, I got to be very, very, very selective when I use it. You know what I'm saying? Because
the other side of this is that it becomes another identity politics thing. It's like I take away all my identity and just say I'm a Black conservative, and that's the first thing you know about me. Now you're PDawgKnight. That's first and foremost. So whatever comes after that is whatever you are. No,
and I've always and I probably, if I really wanted to market, I probably could grow a lot faster. But I just I'm just like I'm pretty happy with how I've grown up. Real quick, let me do this super chat real quick. Sure. Thank you, Ruin Leon, my young brother who thinks he's the sexiest man on the internet because he forgets about me. Anyway, thank you, sir. With the $14.99, it says, if we could only encourage more diversity of thoughts without insulting each other. That gets a thank you so much, Leon. No, that is so true. That is so true. By the way, follow Ruin Leon. Leon is a newer content creator, but he's blown up really fast, and he has some great content. Check him out. Also, Pincalo, thank you so much for the deuce, who said, did she ever take down that website? Oh, the what's that?
Social Autopsy.
Did she ever take that down? I think she did. She's finally kind of kind of disavowed that, sort of.
Look, I would ask her on Twitter, but she blocked me. So
yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's right.
I want to say this about it though. She did market herself this way, but any Black conservative that comes out, no matter who they are, how they market themselves, they will be portrayed as, oh, this is a Black conservative, especially in the media. Look, it's a Black conservative. Right. All she really did was turn into the wave. Yeah. And I can't really, fault her for that.
No, she owned it. She turned it into part of her sales pitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand people who don't want to do that, like you, Dawg. I understand that. I do. Mm-hmm. But I also understand what she was doing, and I don't see it really as any kind of negative unless it's pointed out that she's faking it all, in which case then that's a huge fucking negative.
Could you conceivably take the cynical route in order to get a footing while having, I don't know what you want to put it, like, benevolent intentions behind it? Sort of like use a Trojan horse kind of thing, like ride the wave until you get to a point of, here's where I get my stage, and then go for something that's not at all cynical because that was all part of the plan, that kind of thing.
Well, that's what that's kind of what the Amazing Lucas is being accused of now, though, because he's talking about other opinions that people don't like on the right, but that he has, and now saying, oh no, now you're just the amazing liberal, you're just an SJW now. And he's not. He just has a different take on certain subjects. And also he's spending time, he's ripping on both the right and the left right now. So it kind of goes back and forth because, but as far as him being a conservative, he's still, if he's a social conservative is too. And he's lamented some of the things that, the people who follow Trump do differently than what a social conservative would normally do, because Trump's not a social conservative.
No,
there's a thing that comes with, oh, you're conservative, that it doesn't matter whether the argument is actually about any conservative values or not, but your audience will expect that you just agree with them on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I've run into this with my audience, but my audience happens to be very used to me disagreeing with them. You will have people that like, oh, no, that's the final straw. You were just faking all along. And the only real answer you can give to that is kiss my ass. I'm just going to continue to be me. But you do run into that where they're like, well, he agreed with me on X, Y, and Z. How come he's not agreeing with me on A, B, and C?
Right.
He must be lying.
Well, can you afford to, I mean, this is sort of a philosophical question. Can you afford to not label yourself in order to gain that instant audience while taking the risk that you're going to be putting yourself in a box where it's like, oh, here's the expectation of what you're going to think because you've labeled yourself? Because if you don't say you're a conservative or a liberal these days, or at least make it plain, nobody knows what to do with you. So could somebody find a wider audience, WIDER, if they didn't put that label on themselves?
No, I think you need the label just to help people understand who you are. The problem is that people think it's 100% what I agree with. Not even what a lot of the times the stuff they'll get mad at isn't even conservative or liberal. So you need that just as a kind of, I describe myself as a conservative leaning libertarian-ish kind of person because that gets most of my philosophy there.
Okay.
But like what's his name? Nick Fuentes crowd, where they were all like, what does being gay have to do with being conservative? Nothing. So shut up about it. That's not an answer they really like to hear. But you're going to run into it no matter how you do it. Because if you don't label yourself that way, somebody else is going to.
True. And the other example I thought it was when, people who labeled themselves as a Trump supporter, but they got a little annoyed when Miss MAGA came out, the transgender, whatever, Miss MAGA person. And they're like, oh yeah. What the hell is this? Some people are like, embracing it because, oh yes, it brings diversity to the Trump supporter crowd. But some were like, this is gone too far, So
yeah. And there's nothing you can really do with that except for continue to be. What I have seen happen and what will destroy you is if you take that and you start getting angry.
Right.
Start getting angry with your audience. Anger with your audience is going to kill you every time. What you need to do is have the conversation with them and then move on. And a lot of people get stuck on it. They get very offended at the notion that their audience is mad at them. Your audience comes to you because they liked what you said. And if you say something they don't like, of course, they're going to be upset. A similar thing happens with game players. Darkside Phil, he played Call of Duty, and it got to the point where he hated playing the game. But that's what people tuned in for. So if he played something else, he wouldn't get the audience. And he got mad at the audience because like, why won't you do what I want you to do? That's what an audience is there for. They want to see stuff they want to see. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That reminds me of, oh, sorry, you got your chat there.
Oh, no, I'm just not. I'm just putting up. I'm not reading.
Oh, I was just about to say, that reminds me of. Oh,
yeah, I occasionally put chats on the screen.
Okay. All right. I was going to say that reminds me of Doug Walker and the whole nostalgia critic thing and how he wanted to kill the character because he was tired of doing it. But that's the only thing people came to see him for over on Channel Awesome. And then so he killed off the character and nobody watched his stuff anymore and everything he did completely tanked. And it's like, well, I guess I have to do this thing. Now, if you find success in something you ultimately don't like doing, that sucks. That's really got to suck, right? Because what do you do then? It's like maybe you tried a whole bunch of things and the last thing you wanted to have happen is the thing that sets off. I don't know how you get around that without just saying, I'm done doing this. I'm going to try something new. And you've rolled the dice and say people are either going to like it or they're not. But of course, if your entire livelihood or identity is based on your audience loving you and the only thing they love you for is something you hate, that almost sounds like some kind of Greek tragedy.
Yeah, people who've made distinct changes in content. I think of have you Wizard of Cause? Have you watched anything by him lately?
No, I haven't.
Not in probably 6 months or so.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've never unsubscribed from anybody, so I still have him there on my thing, and it's almost sad because he has about I think 18,000 subscribers, and he's lucky if he gets 5 people in a live stream.
Oh, geez, really?
I mean, he live streams regularly, like, you know, and that's sad. Hey, let me do this, guys, because I have someone waiting in the green room. I'm gonna bring him in, but I'm not gonna kick you out. I just bring King in here real quick, see what King's got going. King, what's happening?
Hi,
Everything.
King.
Nothing.
Hello.
Howdy. How's it going, guys?
What you got for me, man?
I was just, I was listening. I was listening, and me being a little bit more of a boomer than you are, I was thinking back.
Remember, I'm the last boomer.
The last boomer. Yeah, you are. That's right. You are. Yeah. First generation X, right?
Right.
But, I was thinking back, and before we had these projects, because these projects that we have today everywhere, before that happened, we just had the wrong side of the tracks and the right side of the tracks. You'd have different neighborhoods where people would, Little Italy and Harlem and whichever, and they were everywhere. Mm-hmm. And when they started building the projects, that's when I seen the real division start to happen. Because back when I was a kid from the wrong side of the tracks, when we went to school, there was rich kids there was poor kids there. You could see how the other side lived, and it would give you the aspiration to succeed, to do better, no matter what brought you to where you were. And it's like over the last 50 years, all they've done is divide. I think the whole free world's going to end up like South Africa. I don't know if you guys have been watching that or not. What's going on in South Africa?
I have, and there's an interesting thing in South Africa is some people talk about it as it's whites versus blacks, but it's not even that there. It is there because there's other factions that all look black but are different factions too, because there's the Zulu, I can't remember all the names, but that's insanity. I don't know what the hell's going on there. I don't even know how to describe what's going on there.
Well, I'm in with some bikers over there. It's a national club, riding club. They got women and guys in it and stuff, and they were showing off just before all the riots happened. They were showing off, the Ironman run. They do, I think it was 600 kilometers in a day. A 10-hour ride, and have a beer at the end of it. And that's when I did text you on here. I said, hell with that. I said, I'll tell you what, you show me yours and I'll show you mine. So I did 15 kilometers, 1,500 kilometers, which is whatever in miles. I get confused on this shit still. But I did about 1,000 miles on my bike, got drunk the whole time, fell down, partied, had 2 hours sleep and rode home. But I documented it for those guys just to show them our roads up here, because I live in a beautiful neighborhood just north of Idaho, through the BC mountains and stuff. Okay. And I headed out to the foothills and the prairies. But yeah, like it's this whole thing going on is just a big promotion of division. And like you said, people are just marketing on it. Yeah. And they're marketing.
And I guess is your mic on your desk? You're getting I'm getting a banging noise. Like, is your microphone right on your desk?
Oh, sorry, that's me hitting the table.
Oh, okay.
Getting excited.
Anyway, I guess my concern with them constantly trying to create division too is, are they trying to create a kind of a culture of revenge rather than of actually improving things? And that's what I worry about. That's what it almost. I don't know the politics in South Africa that much, but it kind of comes off as a revenge look to me, and that's kind of where I'm seeing it in like the organization, the Black Lives Matter movement too, a little bit. Is it finding solutions for police brutality, for example? That seems to be the stated goal, or is it finding a kind of a revenge factor? Is that what the critical race theory is? It looking for revenge versus looking for solutions to help people rise? And that's why when I was talking earlier about what I like about the Hoteps is their whole their whole philosophy is about how to create a rise in the community. You know what I mean? Or how to improve yourself so that you can improve what's around you versus blaming anybody else or waiting for somebody else to help you. And so that's, I'm curious about that.
Well,
I think,
sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, as far as they say revenge, I just thought, it should be called critical revenge theory, because if you look at what they're promoting in the schools lately, like, I keep coming back to this because it still shocks the hell out of me, the affinity groups in schools, racial affinity groups, and how they say, well, we're going to put the kids over in this group, we're going to put the white kids in this group so the white kids can sort of dwell on their whiteness, and the non-white kids can feel like they're kings of their own castle. And it's like, yeah, you need to feel ashamed for what you are, and you need to feel bad for these people over here because they're obviously disadvantaged compared to you. And now you're the ones who are going to feel bad like we used to feel bad before. It really does feel like it's like now's the time to turn the tables, because that's how you balance the scales. And it's just it's so self-defeating and just turns back the clock about 60 years.
Well, to me, this whole thing looks like it's out of the Bolshevik handbook. Period.
Oh, it is.
Divide and conquer.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't limited to one country or another country. It's like anybody that resembles the free world is under attack, and it's all divide and conquer. Mm-hmm. That's what I see. And the fact that people get sucked into this crap to hate your neighbor because you don't agree on something. One of my favorite sayings was, the cool thing about being a Canadian is we can agree to disagree and still have a beer together. That up here is pretty much ended.
I was going to say, is it that way anymore?
Yeah.
No.
And that's where I get in, like, when you start listening to Kendi and anti-racist.
Oh yeah.
Which is, to me, it's just like, well, to be an anti-racist, it's well, give it to me now. Just give it to me. That's how you be an anti-racist. You appoint me because I happen to be melanin enhanced. So we're just going to give
anti-racism. Anti-racism is just evil. It is racism. It is,
yes,
you are guilty because you are white, period. Yep. And that is evil shit. It just is.
Well,
is it revenge? I don't know as much as it is. I guess it would be, because it's a form of punishment, really.
Yeah, it's taking advantage of historical guilt and the implied debt that is owed, whether it's philosophical or financial. And the whole anti-racism thing. Anti-racism depends on the idea that racism is a universal constant. Everybody has it in them. The only question is whether or not you're confessing to it or you're denying it. And and he said that literally. He said the tenets of anti-racism are you're either there's no such thing as not being a racist. You're either a racist or an anti-racist. Being a racist means you're in denial of your own racism and perpetuating it. An anti-racist means you're confessing to your racism and trying to do better. That's basically its original sin repackaged.
And it's funny because some people are saying that is not related to critical race theory. They make
it absolutely is.
No. He's not a critical race theorist. He's an anti-racist. Except for the fact that you're either racist or an anti-racist. You're either an oppressor or you're oppressed. It's just changing the words.
Well, I mean, critical race theory.
I saw that prick. Real quick, I saw that prick Kendi on some show talking about this. I think it was on Joy Reid. And he's like, I never went to law school, so I don't subscribe to critical race theory. Like, bitch, you can read books. But that was his argument. He never went to law school, so he couldn't be.
That's Joy Reid's whole shtick right now, is that this is something that's only taught in law schools. It's a legal theory. That is a pile of horse shit. I've heard about this for years.
The simplified version of critical race theory is that everything is controlled in some way, shape, or form by systemic racism. Systemic racism is an assumed truth, first and foremost, without having to do much work as to prove it. And therefore, how do you reverse engineer any statistical disparity regarding racial demographics into systemic racism. That is essentially all it is. And if you look back at, I did a video looking at a panel discussion from 2010 at Oregon State University of a whole bunch of professors talking about critical race theory. So this was before Black Lives Matter. This was before all the current hysteria.
Mhm.
You know, what were they saying? And they're saying the exact same things that you hear today on TEDx's, on MSNBC, in schools. And they say, oh, no, that's not what real critical race theory. I've had this argument with people on Twitter. Oh, Robin DiAngelo, that's not real critical race theory. And here's the thing. Here's the one thing I want to put in people's minds. Somebody could say to me, what Robin DiAngelo is saying is not actual critical race theory, because here's a paper from 1977 that says X. And they might be right. They might be right that what the published, and I don't know, I'm not a scholar on it, but somebody could tell me, this is what critical race theory is, and here's what this person's saying. And I'd say, you know what? You're right. But here's the problem. That's how they're practicing it now. Okay, you might oppose the idea of having it being labeled critical race theory because you're a purist or something, but this is how it's being employed by people today. So are you for or against what's going on here? Not just arguing whether or not it is critical race theory. Do you agree with its application as it's happening? And that's where things get really muddled quick, because they don't know what to do. If they say, I'm against this, they're risking contradicting themselves, right? If they say they for it, then anyway. Whoa, that's not me.
No, that's me. That's my notification.
Yeah, I believe that systemic racism is the legal society against mankind. And I can almost prove it for you. These guys all heard of Black's Law Dictionary, right?
Oh, no. Not Black's Law.
Okay, Black's Law Dictionary. Okay, it's one of the most #1 used legal term dictionaries that in North America that are used. Everybody thinks that Black's Law was created by a man named Black, right? It originally came out because that's the legal way. It was the legal terms and definitions on how to treat your slave. And a lot of people don't know that.
Oh, wow.
The legal society takes us. We're a common law land here. This is the land of man. God created man. Man created government to protect property of man. Period. Legal society is supposed to mirror that. And what they've done is they're just taking over and they're just getting us all fighting, and they're holding you to legal terms and courts that you have nothing to do with because you're the presumed person that they claim you to be. And people just don't know how to put that off.
Guys, I got to take off. I've really enjoyed the conversation, but I got to still go unpack. So,
no
Scribe,
problem.
a pleasure as always. King, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too, man.
P-Dawg, thanks for having me on, my friend.
Thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate you. And I got to close up here in a minute anyway, but real quick. Oh, thank you, Monkey, and have a great day. Thank you, sir.
All right, take care, guys.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Real quick, let me do this. Thank you, Piccolo, who is also a Canadian, who says our problem up here is we've got BLM firing up the natives and just fanning the flames of division. Pun intended, I'm assuming. Yeah, that's King, what would you say on that, since you're also in the Canadian side?
This has been going on for a long time, even before BLM became a thing. And most of this is financed through the Rockefeller Foundation out of California via, all the environmental groups. It's been going on and on. Everything going on has been financed by these control groups that pretty much own everything. And all us little people are just fighting with each other over the scraps by the kings eating at their table. That's it. That's all that's going on. It's nothing new. So, yeah, it's sad.
All right. Well, yeah, it is time for me to go. Hey, real quick, guys, Scribe and King, thank you so much for joining me today on the show.
Thanks for having me.
On, and I think I'm just going to make this my regular thing on Fridays if I don't have guests, is we'll do the open mic, because so whenever you see me do that, just feel free to jump in.
Sure thing.
So everyone say thank you to Scribe Light and King on Common Law, and you guys have a great day, and I'm going to close out the show. So we'll see you guys later.
Bye,
Cheers.
guys.
All right, bye-bye. Anyway, again, and also thank you to the Ranting Monkey and also to Sydney, who jumped on earlier today. Sydney is been coming on the show at least the last couple of shows, and I appreciate that. Oh, Jess Phillips. Hey, everyone say hi to Jess, my future son-in-law, is in the chat. I love it. All right, folks. We are going to call it a day. Didn't get completely into the topic. I still may do a video about the title of this show, but I do want to thank everyone who's been here today. Also, thank you, Pincalo. Thank you, Ruan Leon, for sponsoring the show today. Greatly appreciate you. And this is going to be it for today. So, as you know, if you haven't done so already, please hit the like button if you haven't done so already, and also share the stream out, whether before, during, or after the show. And if you want to sponsor the show, it tells you how to do it down in the description down below. Also, I didn't say it. Hello, Star, by the way. I didn't say it out loud, but Stargazer Nice is in the house. Nice to see you. Also, Kiever Dam. A couple other people showed up later that I didn't get to say hi to. If I didn't say hi, I'll try to make sure I do so next time. But as you know, we are here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 GMT for people in other parts of the world who use that instead of our standard Eastern time to set their clocks. And if you, well, again, share the stream out if you haven't done so already. But it is time for me to go. Thanks for being here. My name is PDawgKnight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye.